I am in the studio without Jake this time. I've got my client and my friend in Ryan. So, mate, thanks for coming in. I mean, we've been working together now for, I think, since 2020.
Yes.
We've done a hell of a lot in that time. The biggest thing was the things that we've ended up doing with the shoots and the shows was never the original goal, was it?
Never. I got so bored with all the BS that's out there. You know, I went onto YouTube and then I was looking around going, well, how come does he look like that? And I've been doing this for 3 months and yet I see no change. People saying, oh, you should eat this, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't be training that, you need to take this, you need to do this. Or if you really want to see results, maybe you should take some stuff that's not off the shelf. And I'm like, no. And I think then I got to that point where I was just like, I've had enough of this. You don't know where to turn because everyone seems to be an expert. The more I looked online and the more I looked on YouTube and Instagram, then it was just, I became so frustrated with it. It was just like, I've had enough of this.
8 o'clock in the morning, I'll have fish and a rice cake.
All right, welcome back to Fish and a Rice Cake, and it's a little bit different again because I am in the studio without Jake this time. So he's been here without me a couple of times, but now I've replaced him, haven't I? So I've got my client and my friend in Ryan. So Ryan, mate, thanks for coming in. We want to chat a little bit about your background, don't we? And sort of how you got, because I mean, we've been working together now for, I think, since 2020.
Yes.
So a long time, and we've done a hell of a lot in that time. And I think the biggest thing was the things that we've ended up doing with the shoots and the shows was never the original goal, was it?
Never.
So we just want to dive into that a bit, mate. But before we get into any of that, how are you doing? You all right?
Good, man. Thank you. As I said earlier, a bit apprehensive.
Yeah.
It's always something new, and then in front
of the cameras.
Yeah. Whereas before we've done the vids and then the Teams call, which is always different.
Well, it's a bit more relaxed, isn't it? Because it's just us on a call with that. There's, you don't have sort of the lights and everything and the big setting.
Yeah, and just like try and not make a tit of yourself today.
Well, yeah, but like we said before, I can just edit anything out.
Thank God.
So it's absolutely fine. Oh, maybe I won't because it'll be funny if I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just keep that in.
Yeah.
Just shows you human then.
Yeah, exactly. You got the train, didn't you, this morning from York?
Because it's just easier for me straight through.
Yeah, I was saying to you, like, I've tried getting the train a couple of times. I'll vary because obviously I come over from Leeds and I'll either drive. This morning, like, it took me about an hour and a half to get here because the motorway was shut. So I've been going through every single back road through Huddersfield and Oldham. Literally didn't know where I was going, but the train's just as bad as well, isn't it?
Oh, they're awful at the moment. And I get what you say about driving because I've driven in most cities and there's a few like Birmingham and Manchester, which I just cannot do.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say because I'm not comfortable with it. It's just because there's so much going on and so many roads which are one ways and you've got the trams here, so you got to keep your eye on that, and it's just...
I've done Birmingham a couple of times and that was horrible. Manchester, to be fair, at least getting into the studio and out seems fine because I don't actually have to go into the centre. It's very much just sort of on the outskirts. Leeds is the worst. And it was funny, I had...
I don't mind Leeds.
Well, you've met my cousin Jack, haven't you, who was at the photo shoot last year. It was his stag do last weekend in Leeds. And so I was chatting to Jack and my cousins and whatnot and their mates, and they're all from Newcastle. And they were all literally like, we got stuck in the Leeds loop for like half an hour trying to find a hotel. They were like, we could see it, but we couldn't get to it because of how the road system is in Leeds. They were like, we're just going round and round the centre.
Yeah, which is the worst because of the changes.
It's awful, yeah. I've grown up in Leeds and I still can't drive around it. Again, I try and avoid going into the city centre as much as I can.
Yeah, luckily I don't do the city centre, but I saw it the other day on the train. I was like, wow, it's just changed, no chance. Thank goodness I tend to scoot around the outskirts, which is bliss.
Yeah, it's the best way to do it, isn't it? But less about travel and traffic, and we'll actually dive into what we want to talk about. So as we said, mate, like, we've obviously been working together now for just under 4 years. So it's been a long time, hasn't it? We knew each other before you came into coaching. Obviously, I was... myself and Sophie were working in the gym at Ultraflex where you were training at that time, and we got to know each other a bit there. We even had you came around to watch the World Cup, didn't you? With me and my brothers in our flat in York, which
outnumbered, but then walked out proud.
Outnumbered, the only South African in the room, and they end up winning. And I know most of myself included, we don't take it too seriously, but my older brother takes it seriously, especially when there's a South African fan on the couch with him who's loving every minute of it when they're
that was just bliss because his face just painted 1,000 pictures.
He can't hide it well, can he?
No, it was just like, I'm not going to wind him up anymore because this could go horribly wrong.
So we're going to dive into obviously like how we got onto doing multiple photo shoots and even shows and stuff last year, and winning the Northern Counties title, which was
Yeah.
amazing.
Still got to pinch myself with it.
Yeah, but
Just,
before we get into that, let's just go back to before you came into coaching. Back when I knew you, when we were in the gym and we were training, where were you at that point? Sort of, what had you done up to the start of coaching? What were you doing with your training? How long have you been training for?
well, I've been on and off training for a long time. I think I first got into it when I was in high school back home. I think it was about 16. I just wanted to try and get a bit of shape because I was doing a lot of sports then. I was doing swimming, I was doing running and all sorts. So it was just, and surfing at the time still then. And I just wanted to be fit.
Yeah.
And got into it. And then back in the day, you kind of just obbed along because it was proper old school gyms, proper meatheads, banging weights about. And then when I came over to the UK, didn't do much because I lived with a bunch of friends. So it was just constant, like 8 years of partying. And then when I left London to come up here, I kind of thought, I need to start getting fitter.
Yeah.
And got back into it. And then because I was living in York, Scarborough was on the doorstep, so I thought I want to get back into surfing. So that all kind of clicked in, and then I just, as you do, you just think, well, where do you start? I just pick up where I started before, where you'd say, right, today I'm going to do chest, tomorrow's legs, this is shoulders. So every day I had a different routine, and then weekends I was just literally binge eating, boozing, partying, and then no difference. And then come Monday again, starting all over again and going, what's happening? I'm not really seeing the results. And I think that's when I turned to, right, okay, where do we go? Because at that time, coaching wasn't really big. It was just starting to creep in. And I was at Pure at the time, and you've got your PTs. And no disrespect to anyone, I just look at a PT sometimes and I think, to me, a PT should either have done a show, be in pretty good nick, or know what they're talking about. And half the times, they were sat talking to the girls like they were on the beach or something. And it's just like, what? Come on, mate. You need to walk out of a session walking like you can't walk, or you feel like you've had a session. So I was like, not really up for that. And then I just obbed along then at Pure, just going, okay, I'll do the same stuff. Then going onto YouTube, downloading programs. And at that point, then nutrition, I started to get an idea for nutrition. And I was thinking, right, where do we start with this? Oh, I'll just do the protein shakes because everyone's doing a protein shake. Yeah, let's get on the bandwagon. But it wasn't really, I wasn't eating properly in order to gain muscle or to lose fat. So I kind of just obbed along and then bumped along. And then Ultraflex eventually popped up in York, and I thought, oh, great. So I started there, and that was just like a game changer because it's like, wow, you've got all the new equipment and everything. And then I think I'd seen you and Sophie a few times at gym with clients, and I was thinking, let's have a look. And I thought, seen the bits and bobs that you had posted, and I thought, right, let's give a one-off chance and see what you like. And I think you did a one-off meal plan for me.
Yeah, I think that's how we started.
Training program.
I remember that at the time, I know we were always having on and off conversations about sort of how your training was going and how your nutrition was. And I know you had odd questions here and there, but it was just general chat between mates, wasn't it? Like when I was on shift or between clients and whatnot. And because I know you were training with a few different people at that time. And I think that's the other thing I know I've definitely struggled with in the past is like the opinion of other people in the gym that you may be training with, or just guys that you know in the gym. And they'll always ask, what are you training, or what are you eating, or you really need to be doing this, or you should be doing that. And that itself can be so difficult because that can leave you just being like, well, what the hell do I do? Because I feel like I was doing this and now they're saying I should do this and they look like this, so do I follow what they're saying or do I stick to what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm pretty sure when we started, I was very much just in these infant, I just started doing online coaching, and I was still at the time doing one-off meal plans, which I haven't done now for a long time. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was how we got going. It was just to look at your nutrition to start with, wasn't it?
I think because I got so bored with all the BS that's out there. I went onto YouTube, and then there was a certain South African PT chap who I bought a program from, and it was more like hits and weights. And I was doing that till I was blue in the face, and I was looking around going, well, how come does he look like that? And I've been doing this for 3 months, and yet I see no change. And then it was like, okay, there's no meal plan, so what do I do now? And it was just, I felt like I was training but not seeing the results, but then going back online. Then I finished with him. Then I went on to another lad, UK lad. I bought his program. which I found on Instagram, because Instagram was then starting to kick off. And then I was like, oh, okay, that looks quite cool. Yeah, he looks pretty good. And then did his thing again with no meal plan. And I was thinking, and then I just got so fed up. It was just like people saying, oh, you should eat this, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't be training that, you need to take this, you need to do this. Or if you really want to see results, maybe you should take some stuff that's not off the shelf. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I want to achieve what I've got through naturalness. Yes, if you want to go that route, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to judge you, but I want to do it through my own esteem and through hard work and determination, which shows, and which has shown, and it shows because there's others doing it. It's what you want to do. And I think then I got that to that point where I was just like, I've had enough of this. You don't know where to turn because everyone seems to be an expert. And it's like the more I looked online and the more I looked on YouTube and Instagram, then it was just, I became so frustrated with it. It was just like, I've had enough of this. And I think that's when we turned and said, look, can you just do me a one-off training program, which I think we started off with. And then I really got into it. And then I said, can you do me a meal plan? Because then I've got a structure and I know what to eat and not. And I think at that point of our development, it was like, that's your structure, off you go. And it is what it is. And I kind of took that as black and white. And then I was like, I'm bored of that, but I don't want to change it or say anything. And I think that's the difference where we've developed as a client, come coach, but also as a friend, training together. That if I have said to you, I don't really want that, can we adapt it? I've seen this and then done a video for you. And you've gone, yeah, okay. Whereas I know these coaches out there, they go, if you don't follow that meal plan or that training program, don't even bother.
Yeah.
And I just think that's not what it's about. And I think that's what makes our relationship as a coach and trainee, but also as a friend, because I know I can say stuff to you that you're not going to get offended with. And I know likewise you're going to say to me the same. That when we were doing, I think a peak prime example was when we were doing the shows. And I think there were so many times I said to you when we were doing the Pudsey one, stuff it. Yeah, I've had enough.
Yeah. Well, I remember we just had phone calls, won't we? Some days you'd be like, I'm really struggling, can we have a chat? And we just had, because I think I was walking the dog on one of them, and I was just walking around the park for like 30, 40 minutes, I think, whilst we were just chatting about it. And you know, the call wasn't anything crazy. It was just a bit of support. When I was like, yeah, it's shit. Like, when you go to that degree of doing a show and you're that lean and you're that far in, because I think at that point we were like 5 weeks out, maybe, something like that.
Far off.
And by that stage, like we were saying this morning when we had a coffee, like, you're just ready for it to be done, aren't you?
I think because it's mentally, I have full respect for people that do it and do it as a profession, because the mental side of it, the training side for me is dead easy. I can do that till the cows come home. It's the mental side of it where you're physically getting up, you're tired, you're hungry, you're training on nothing. You then got to go home, and like with me and most folk, you've got a 9-to-5 job. You've then got that to do. And then you still got to do your steps during the day. And then you've got to go home and eat. And I think towards the end, there were some days after talking to you or sending you a message, I feel so bad because I've had a pop at you. But it's like, it's not a pop at you because I'm angry. It's a pop at you because I'm low and I need that pickup to say, come on, we're almost there. And I think that's what's great about our relationship. And I think people looking for a coach, you know automatically if you're going to click with that person or not. And I think that's where we clicked in the beginning, because I kind of went, yeah, you're same build as me, you've got the same ideas and same ethos. And then we developed that. And I think that's, for me, is key. If you're going to find a coach, you need to be on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
And he or she needs to understand your needs and your goals, that it's not just black and white, that if you don't like something, that you can speak up and say, can we change that? Look how many times we've changed a meal plan or a training program because I've gone, that really hurts my shoulder, or that hurts my knees or my back. Okay, cool, what do you think? And I've gone, what about this exercise? Or what about, and then you've gone, oh, okay, maybe take that out. Let's try that one. Send me a video. And I think that's what's so key.
Yeah, it's just like a constantly evolving thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just as we need to. So going right, obviously we did the sort of the one-off training plan, didn't we? We did the one-off nutrition plan. And then if I remember rightly, I think it was lockdowns that kick-started the full online side of things. I think it was when it went down. I think you messaged me and were just like, I'm going to, can you give me some structure whilst we're in lockdowns and we'll make this like a weekly thing? Because obviously everyone was training from home, weren't they? So way back then, before the shows, before the shoots, the initial goal, if I remember, it was just to have that bit of structure through lockdown, wasn't it? It was to sort of try and do what we could, keep you in decent shape, and just build a bit of confidence in your
and I
physique,
think just keep things going and just trying to be that fit and active, because it was just, I'm the type that you tell me what to do and I'll do it. Where I think I remember one of the plans, you said, here you go, here's all your bits and bobs, you can fiddle around and do what you want. And I think I tried it for a week or so, and I was like, no, this doesn't work. I need you to tell me, this is your breakfast, this is your mid-morning, this is your lunch, and so vice versa. And I think by doing that, then as time's gone on, we've tweaked that to what I want and what and tried and tested as well. And that's what's nice about it, is that structure. And I think during lockdown, then I'm like, right, get up, go for a jog today. Next day, right, get up, do some weights at home. Eat this, eat that, and that. And I think then with so much walking around, our steps were through the roof, our fitness was going, so that when we got back into gym, we weren't then going almost from scratch again.
Exactly. We'd managed to hold, because we dieted you down through that first lockdown, didn't we?
Yes.
To quite a nice point. And then when the gyms reopened, we were like, right, let's go through a bit of a gaining phase. Let's see how strong we can get. Let's see what size we can put on. And I don't even think it was before that point we'd even talked about a photo shoot.
No.
I think it was only as we were coming towards the end of that gaining phase, and we were like, right, we're going to do another diet phase coming up, see what we've built underneath. I think it was only towards the start of that we started mentioning a bit about, how would you feel about doing a shoot? Because I know you were sort of quite nervous and apprehensive at first, as everyone is to first start doing it.
I think
what was your when I first mentioned it? What were your thoughts about doing one?
I thought you're on something, bud. You need to stop smoking whatever it is, because it's not right. I was like, a photo shoot, and then when you said, oh, I'll be at a gym, and I thought, okay, cool. And then at the last minute, I think you said, oh, we've got to do it at Ultraflex on a Sunday. I was like, what? Are you mad? There's people in the gym at that hour. I'm not going to walk around with a top on. Because for me, I've always been semi-body conscious. I've never worn a tank top to gym, because it's like, no, I haven't got the physique for it, or I don't have the confidence. And I think sometimes people think, what, you don't have the confidence, really? And I'm like, yeah, in certain situations I am, but things like that where I just think, no, I've not got the body to pull it off. And I was just like, no. And then to do it on a weekend, I thought, really, Jake? No, man, come on. This is just... And I even said to you on that Sunday, is it still going ahead? Because it's just... I was a bag of nerves. I think I hardly slept that Saturday. But then as we started it, and then the first couple and then the lad showed us those pictures, and I was like, what? It was just like a click in my head, and I went, wow, okay. Do you know what? I couldn't give a monkey's what anyone thinks in this gym now. I've worked hard. We've worked hard to get to that point, and I'm going to flaunt it off as much as I can. And I think that from that first photo shoot for me was then right. It kind of gave me more confidence, and I then started wearing tank tops more. But every now and again, I still click back and go, oh, I can't wear that. It's like, no. But then I think, no, why? Do it.
Which is mad, innit? Because over the years, the amount of times now you've messaged me saying, oh, I've had X person come up to me in the gym saying how good I'm looking, asking me what I'm doing with my food, my training, nutrition. Like, you've become over that time one of the people in the gym that other people do look to be like, fucking hell, he's in good shape. Like, what's he been doing? But it doesn't mean that you don't still have those like internal struggles and insecurities with things. Like, they get, like you said, they get better over time, and you start to deal with them. And I think confidence, a lot of it is just building up that sort of almost that stack of proof of, well, actually, look what I've done, look what I've achieved. Like, actually, I should feel pretty good about myself. Like, I should be pretty happy with things. But that was a full year, wasn't it, or just over? Because it was 2021 when we did that first photo shoot.
Yes.
And that was a full year of, and for someone like yourself who, when we started coaching, by any normal standards, you were in good shape anyway. Like, if you just pulled 10 people off the street, you were in good shape. You see,
and then for me at that point, I would have thought, yeah, I'm all right. I'm not.
Yeah, and it's just how you view yourself. Yeah. But even from being in that start position, it still took us a year to get to a point where it was like, okay, this could actually be quite a cool goal, and we can actually see like a difference in how much muscle we've built and our condition and everything like that. And I think that's really important for people to know, because it wasn't just we dieted you down for 6 weeks and thought, oh, we could do a photo shoot in 6 weeks. Let's see how good you look. It wasn't even on our radar for a long time, and it took a full year. And then after that first one, we did the same thing. We were like, right now, because like you said, you got a bit of a bug for it, didn't you? And I think you came away, as I've done myself, and a lot of people do. You came away from that shoot being like, I want to do another one in like a year and see how much difference I can make and how much I can improve. And that's exactly what we did. We came out of that one, and we went into another gaining phase, and then we had a group photo shoot the following November, so November of 22. And again,
the change from that
huge, because I think during that time we managed to do a gaining phase, then just a short diet, I think before summer, just for a holiday, and then we did another little gaining phase, and then we went into like another photo shoot diet. And yeah, the difference between the first photo shoot and the second shoot
massive.
Was huge, wasn't it?
When I still look at photos now, I think, at the first one I thought, yeah, I look pretty good, and then the second one, like, because someone said to me not that long ago, and they saw it on my profile, that was photoshopped. And I went, I can assure you that's not photoshopped. That is.
Someone said I got similar. I put a picture on either the start of this year or the back end of last year from the photo shoot that I did in last November, and some randomer commented saying, "No, this is definitely photoshopped" or something like that. And I was like, dude, you can literally go onto YouTube. I've got 20 odd videos of every single week, the whole process of me dieting and through this. I was like, I'll take it as a compliment that you think it's photoshopped. Cheers. I was like, but go and watch that, because you can literally see the work being done. But yeah, it does make me laugh when you get comments like that.
Unreal. And I think that's what's nice about the whole process with us, that we've developed with time. The training programs have developed, and it's, for me, the key is to get anywhere, you need to put in, it's all down to me, but at the end of the day, it's also you. And I know when we did our first show and I came away with that win, it's, to me, that win is not just me, it's you, because without your guidance and support and assistance, I wouldn't have got to that phase. Never in a million years, because I wouldn't have even dreamed of it, of getting there. But then, as we said, what's the worst? You try it and you don't get anywhere. Oh well, and I think that's what I quite like about the whole routine and the gym, because I like routine. It gets me up in the morning, get up first thing, go to gym, come home, eat, go to work, or work at home, and it's done and dusted. And then I found as I've got older, my fitness has become better, and even my surfing has become better. And even on that, I get compliments when people are like, "Blimey, Nick, your surfing got really good." And I've gone, oh yeah, maybe it's because of what we're doing. And it's massive how the impacts can help you along. And I think as well, during lockdown, I kind of, at that point, I just think, there's other two ways. You can either trudge along doing what you're doing, take on board what you say, or just think, whatever. But then at the end of the day, you've gone through that process, you've studied it, you know what you're talking about. And that's why I say there's so many out there that you just become, it's like a minefield, because you kind of believe what they're saying and you just think, no, don't, it's rubbish. Like you posted that one the other day with that chap talking about don't eat red meat and all sorts. And I'm thinking, really? Yeah, you must eat red meat, but in moderation. You can't just cut things out automatically and just think, oh, well, and then they expect to see the results. It's like now with our eating regime, it's like, I've got Cocoa Pops in again. That's quite cool. It's like, and I look at our previous meal plans, I'm like, we didn't have that in before. Oh, okay. It's because it evolves, and as time goes on, the training and your coaching evolves with that person. And I think that's what is key for us, that I just love about it, that it's not black and white ever. You might put on paper, oh my God, I don't want that. Can we, like I said to you the other day, I love my pasta, but can we throw in the old rice? Because it's been such a while since we've had rice. Yeah, okay. And it's like not an issue for you. Because I know some coaches will have an absolute kitten. What, do you want me to change this? No. Stick to what I'm telling you. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, at the end of the day, I always put that food plan together for you based off of what I know that you enjoy, obviously, from the years that we've been working together. But if you then turn around and say, actually, I'm bored of that, can I have something else? Well, it would be pointless for me to say no, because I've built it with what you enjoy in mind in the first place, which, like I said, a lot of coaches won't do it. It'll just be, that's the plan, stick to that. So I'm like, so if I'm not then changing it to suit what you're currently enjoying, would make no sense, and you're not going to want to stick to it. So what would be the point? But you like that, like, you're one of the few clients I have who do still have a meal plan, but that's just because for you, it works absolutely fine. Like, you prefer that routine. So that's what we've stuck with. So like when me and Jake talk about we don't do meal plans, for most people, they don't like the sort of routine, the repetitive nature of them. Whereas for you, that just works really well. But then we always have the option, like you say, of just saying, okay, let's just change this. You don't want this for tea. Let's, tell me what you do want, and let's work it in. And it works really well. But yeah, so we did the photo shoot in 2022, didn't we? The second photo shoot, which was nice because it was a group shoot and it was in the gym again.
It wasn't as daunting.
It wasn't as daunting, and also the other lads, none of those had ever done a shoot.
No.
You sort of took on almost like the leadership role, because I was helping, obviously, just with getting them into position, getting the tan on, and everything like that. Not the tan on, sorry, the oil and stuff on. And I kind of said to you, look, are you
chief fluffer that day?
I was chief fluffer that day, but I said to you before, didn't I? Was like, look, are you happy to sort of take a bit of a lead with just getting them warmed up, and just making sure they're feeling all right, and just giving them a bit of a confidence boost if they need it. And it was nice to see you sort of naturally grow into that role and just help lead that group through that process, because you've been there and done that.
Yeah, no, like I wasn't, as I said to you, I'm no expert at it, but it's your first time. It is daunting, and it was almost like the safety in numbers. Oh, someone else has done it. Let's just have a pop and chat to him. And it was like, right, okay, this is what you look for. This is what you got to try and do. And it was good. And it was a good bunch of guys as well.
Yeah, it was. It was a really
unreal
nice group, wasn't it?
Because I remember Brendan going, "Oh, I wish I'd started this sooner." And
yeah,
think, yeah, dude.
To be fair to Brendan, yeah, he said that on the day. One thing and another, he sort of really only started pushing for that photo shoot from about 6 weeks out, if I remember rightly.
He still did well though.
And he still did really well. He still lost a lot of weight in 6 weeks, like he did.
Yeah.
He grafted, but he said on the day himself, "I really wish I'd have, got my ass in gear a bit sooner and pushed a bit sooner." And he said on the day, he was like, "I'm going to do another photo shoot in March," which was about 5 months after the one we were currently doing. And to be fair to him, we did. And for the second photo shoot that he did, he looked fantastic, because I think we had Christmas off, and then we were like, right, let's go from day one. And he did, and he smashed it. And he's been flying ever since. He's doing group photo shoots with his own clients now.
Yes.
Loving it. It's great to see. But after that photo shoot, you really got a bit of a bug of that sense of how far can I take this? Because I think that was when you first mentioned, you came to me about thinking about doing a show, didn't you?
Yeah, because I kind of think, by that point, because I thought, do you know what, I'm looking in pretty good shape. What about a show? And it was just, I think because it was a really extreme challenge. You could either fall flat on your face, or you could do it. And I thought, someone has to start somewhere. And as I said to you from the beginning, let's try it. Let's see. If we seed, we seed. If we didn't, do you know what? At least I can say I've been through that process. I understand what they go through, guys and girls, because when you stood there at the back there getting warmed up, as you know, it's just the women are as physically and mentally prepared for it as the guys are. And it takes a lot. And it's your family, your friends, your work, everyone suffers whilst you're trying to get in that mode. Because when I'm hungry, I get really grumpy. Then my moods were up and down. I wanted to kill people, and then I wanted to sit in the corner and cry. I think
Jane wanted you out of the house for a little bit, didn't she?
Yeah, it was just like, get out. Because it's not, because you're not used to it. And because you have to go, I know this might sound dramatic for some, but for me, there was times I went to a really dark place because I just thought, I cannot do this anymore. I was going to bed at like 8 o'clock, 9 latest, because I was so hungry. Because all I wanted to do was eat. That you sat in front of the telly and you're just watching videos and you're thinking, oh, there's a food ad. Oh, KFC. I haven't ate KFC for years. But your mind automatically clicks. And then next minute you think, oh, McDonald's ad. And then before you know it, you think, in an advert or in a series, I've counted 8 food ads, which you subconsciously don't pick up on.
Yeah.
But because you're so restricted on eating, you pick it up straight away and you just think, wow, okay.
Yeah, you start noticing it more, don't you?
And it's just like food and drink ads. You think, what? And it just seems to click. So it's just... And then I'd wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning going, I'm starving. Do I wake up now and get up and have my breakfast? Yeah, but then what happens come 9 o'clock? Then I have that wrap. And then by 10 o'clock, I'm absolutely ravenous. No. And it is a lot of hard work. I would say to anyone, if you are going to do it, just think of... Just be mentally prepared for it. And I think that's where, again, our friendship as a coach, but also as a personal level, blossomed, because I could talk to you and say, look, mate, this is just, I've had enough. There were times I said to you, I want to jack in, and then call you every name under the sun. But I knew you wouldn't take it personally because it is so hard.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you see the results and when you took that photo just before I was going on, you think, blood my neck, do I actually look like that? I think because you don't see yourself up until that very end point, and it was like, wow. And then when we went on the stage, and it was just like, right, okay, you can either go home or go big. And I thought, I'm just going to do whatever. And then when they came back and we did that, and then we did the last, there was where all the heats had won.
Yeah.
And when they mentioned it, when they called out that I'd won it, I was just like, what? I've just won it. I was like, I can't believe I've just won it. Like, no ways. Are you for real? I'm like, this dude's been doing it longer than me, and this is my first rodeo. And I'm like, wow. And I think that's, for me, mentally, just changed so much things. I think my confidence got so much better. And like, when people ask me, how did you get there? What have you done? I stand on my soapbox and I sing your praises until I'm blue in the face. Because I think people need to understand, as a coach, that's what my coach has done. And people need to find that person. So if someone's on the field, on the side, going, do I need to sign up with Jake? Do I not? Or any other ones from your team, just do it, because it is such a game changer. If you want to get fit, you need to have someone that's going to hold you. And I think the biggest thing is someone having you, holding you to accountable for everything you do. Yes, in the gaining phase, we've been a bit lenient. You've gone, have a meal plan.
There's been times where I've literally said to you, go out and go for a
Yeah,
meal. Like, I've had to actually force you to be like, go out for a meal, get Jane, take her out for a meal, and go relax.
Because I'm still so like, oh, I can't have that.
Yeah.
Like you said last weekend, this is it, mate. Go big or go home. Because after Monday, that is it. I was like, really? Right, okay. So
you went and got the Ben and Jerry's Tony ice cream.
Yes, on the Friday. And then I got Chinese on the Sunday. Because I thought, that is it. I've not had Chinese for such a long time.
Yeah.
But I think that's what's nice about it.
Well, that's the thing. That's the risk of sort of going to the extreme of a show, which isn't something that I do with many clients at all. It's not something that I advertise to take people on for. It's only something I'll do if, like yourself, a client comes to me saying they want to do it, but it's with that understanding of, look, this is an extreme. This is going to be tough. You don't have to do that for like general fat loss or photo shoots and stuff like that to the same degree. But it's because of the risk of coming out of the other side of something like that. Your mindset is in such like a fragile place. You're so fixed and regimented that going out for a meal can become quite a scary thing.
Well,
if it's
how
not
long
done
did
right.
it take us after Pudsey? Because then at Imandard, because of winning that division, we got automatic placement.
That was in August, wasn't it? And then the place for the finals that you got was in the start of October.
Yeah.
So we had like a month and a half-ish.
Yes.
Until 2 months. I think it was pretty much until the final. So it was a bit of like, right, well,
what do we do?
How do we approach? So we had to come out a little bit of the diet and go into a bit of a maintenance before then going back.
And even that was a struggle for me.
Because all of a sudden you're eating more food, you're a bit more relaxed.
I don't want to, because then I'm going to lose that physique.
Yeah.
And then there was the toying, do I do it or not? And then you get to that point where you think, do you know what? You've won that and you've got an automatic placement. That's your ticket. And that was my worry, because at one point I said, no, I'm not doing it, because I've had enough of all of this. And then one day I just sat down and I said to myself, when will you ever get that opportunity again? This is a free ticket. And I didn't want to go and not do it. And October come and the finals, which was the UK and actually international finals as well, come and go, and then go, what happens if I came somewhere? What happens if I actually placed? There was the possibility that I could have won, which is what I always wanted, because I thought if I come out of a win, you've got to think I'm going to win it. You can't just go in and go, we'll trudge along. And I didn't, no, and I think I then eventually said to you, no, we're doing it, because I will never get that opportunity again.
Yeah.
And that, for me then, when you said, we've got to do this and that, and I was like, because God, 6 weeks doesn't seem long. It's only around the corner. But I think then once you start going back into it again, you think, we're week 2. And then I was literally counting down the days.
Yeah. It's a tough time, isn't it? But it's just like, I think the whole thing just so naturally, because we never came to Ryan on day one and said, right, in 3 years you're going to do a show. How do you feel? Because it'd have just been, no, not a chance. It was just that nice natural progression of when we started, it was, okay, let's just get you feeling a bit better, looking a bit sharper, so you feel a bit more confident, you're a bit happier. You tick that box, and then you were like, okay, well, let's see what we can do with this. Let's see if we can put some more muscle on. So we went into that phase and we ticked that box, and then it was like, okay, let's diet down and see what we've built. We'll have a look underneath and let's push the boat out. Let's do a photo shoot, even though it's a scary goal. You tick that box, and then with every sort of thing, you could see it in you growing a little bit of, well, what more could I do? What more could I do? Your confidence was growing. You're like, how far could I take it? To then peak at essentially, you know, doing the show last year, winning the regionals, and being like, you know, for 3 years of consistent progress and hard work and all these different phases, this is the result. And it was to be able to sit and watch you do that was great. And obviously being sat next to Jane with both cheering you on was amazing. But over those different phases, if we take all like the dieting phases that you've done and the gaining phases, because you've done loads now, is there anything that you could pick out from a dieting phase and a gaining phase as like something that's of key importance that you maybe were missing before coming into the coaching process?
I think it was consistency and eating the right foods. Because you can sit there and go, you know, there's one particular coach who everyone knows in the UK. I'm not going to mention him by name, but he's huge. He's always on TV. He's brought out books. And it's like, yeah, but your books don't tell you what the macros is and what everything is. And if you're going to be regimented or strict, you need to know what you're putting in, how much carbs, how much protein. And I think that's the key for me, is consistency and having something like, I can eat that, but I can also have that. But is it still within what I'm allotted for the day or the week? You know, and I think that's the biggest thing. Like with dieting, yes, you could become restricted. And as I've already seen this week, it's like, oh, I can tell I'm really starving. And I thought, we're only in week 1, dude. Wait until you're in like week 14 of this. But I know what's coming. And I think that's what prepares you. And also with the bulking phase, I got to a point where I said to you last time, I've had enough. I think it's because you're constantly eating and you are eating a lot. And yes, I can eat. But then after a while, I'm like, I can't face another bloody meal. Enough of this.
Yeah, and I think as well, you're having to deal with allowing yourself to put a bit of body fat on and lose a bit of condition, which is really difficult to do when you've not got that support there of someone else saying it's okay, this is supposed to happen. You know, it's under our control. It's not getting out of hand.
That's why I wear all the bulky t-shirts at the moment at gym, because I'm like, there's no chance I'm putting that Gymshark top on because it's far too tight at the moment. I feel like, good God, is that sprayed on you? And it's like, no. And again, it's with body confidence. It's like as you become more and more confident, you just think, I don't care what people think. And I think that's what everyone who's at gym is obviously doing something at gym because they want to do something or progress. So regardless of what people think, yes, you get those uber fit, you know, ripped guys and girls at the moment, but they're on a different course to you. It's what your journey at that particular time, and that's what you've got to get in mind. It's like, right, this is where I want to get to. It's not a race, as you know. Yes, you can do there's no such thing as 6-week abs. Christ, as if there was, I'd have them right now and gladly have them, but there isn't. It takes time. And everyone says, what exercise do you do for stomach? And it's like, towards the end, I said to you, people are asking me, it's like, I hardly do stomach exercises. Maybe a couple of rounds a week if I'm lucky. It's because it is the diet. It's what you eat. As soon as you start stripping that off, you have it. And I think that was my biggest worry when we came out of the regionals, was I'm going to lose that body comp and just put it straight back on, because I know you've had clients that have just gone curly and then just ballooned, and it's like, I don't want that. And in a kind of a sadistic way, I wanted to stay that lean for as long as possible because I felt good, but I knew at the same time, mentally and physically, it's not good.
You look great, but you feel like shit.
Yeah.
Like, you feel good about how you look, but in every other aspect of like energy, sleep, motivation, drive, everything, work, like productivity, it's terrible.
Even my boss said to me
when you get to that degree,
was saying, when's this all finished? Because you're not yourself anymore. You're not your bubbliness. You're reclused and you're tired, and it's like, and I think that comes with the territory. But you know what? I'm glad I've done it. I'm glad I've pushed myself to that point, because I think sometimes you've got to push yourself. People are different, and it's like I've said to you, structure for me is always being key.
Yeah, like you said, I think there's structure, consistency, and like you said, just focusing on your own journey, your own stage where you're at, not trying to compare to anybody else. Because like you said, you don't know what other people are doing, especially when you look at the sort of natural versus people that me and Jake spoke about this last time we were in. And I think the episode went out yesterday about like people that are taking gear and stuff. Like, it's absolutely fine, but because you don't know who is and who isn't, you cannot compare yourself to those other people, because it might just be an unfair comparison that's only going to leave you feeling like shit. So over the 3 years, I think I know the answer to this, but what would you say is like your biggest highlight of the entire coaching process so far?
I think winning that regional.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say that.
Yes,
There's not really anything else.
No. And I think then the cherry on the top. I think that's the cherry on the top. I think that surpasses even going to the UK finals in Leicester.
Yeah, I think so. Like the UK was like, it was a nice addition. Obviously,
Yeah.
you're never going to not, because like you don't want to regret not doing it.
No.
But that moment of seeing you up there and winning the title for the regionals was definitely the
Yeah,
highlight.
and I think that to me was just like, wow. It was just unreal. And then to get that trophy, it was just like, what? And then your number, which I've got on the bookshelf with my trophy and the medal I got from the finals. And every now and again, I don't see it. And then I stop and I look at them, and it's like I sent you photos the other day going, can you actually believe we did this? Because it still doesn't seem real to me. And as I said to you, now that they've changed the program for this year, I will always be the Northern Counties champion.
Yeah, because they've got rid of the whole regional qualifier, haven't they?
And I don't think, and I know what you'll say to this question. I don't think from a coaching point of view, as a client, I've not become too big-headed.
No. Because you still have those days where you are still a little bit like, when we are in the gaining phase, where you're not feeling great about things. Like, you don't walk around with your trophy in the gym, do you? Pointing at it, introducing yourself as a regional champion to everyone you meet. It's so no,
like,
you haven't at all.
Do one.
Yeah, no, you haven't at all. So you definitely don't need to worry about that.
And I think that's what's the key. It's just we've done it. And then people, like the other day when I was at Ultra and Mitch said, oh, can you help me with these 40s? And I helped him. And then he posted that little thing saying, need a little spot from the Northern Counties. And it's just like, oh, yeah, how cool is that? And he's like, yeah, I got to slide it in that you saw the champ, dude. It's like, yeah. And then it clicks in my head, oh, yeah, I am actually. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's just a nice confidence boost.
It is,
yeah,
because it's
nice
just
reminder.
like, with people pick it up, and it's like, oh, wow, okay. And like I wear my T-shirts that I bought in gym, with almost like with pride. I know there's people think, really? But it's like, I got that finest T-shirt because I entered that, and you've got there.
Yeah.
I think the old saying is, you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
And it is so true.
Yeah.
You can't expect to go out and eat crap all weekend and then go back to gym on Monday and go, wow, what's going on? As you know, I was never big into drinking, but I think that stopped because that does have a huge effect.
Yeah, major impact.
Yeah. I know this sounds stupid. It doesn't. I had a shot of a neighbor brought some bottle of this stuff back from Spain the other day, and I had a double shot. My God, I woke up the next day with such a headache. I was like, dear God, you're such a lightweight. I think because you become so clean and it's what you eat. But yes, like you said, it's gaining phase. We can, if you want that, that's fine, but you've got to realize you've then got to put in what you've got to put a bit more effort in than the next day or the next weeks.
Yeah.
But I think that was a highlight, is just winning that. And then when I saw the video the other day, and then I heard, oh my God, he's won. Has he won? And I was like, they've just called my name. Are you for real?
Yeah.
It was just, And I think that's when the bug became. Then I got the bug because it was like, right, yes, no, let's not do it. And then like now even, I'm like, if we're doing another shoot, and even like I said today in coffee, we were at that point then, come July, the next one's in September, August. Where do you think we are? Do you think we could push it? Again, it's not a goal for me to do one this year. But if we feel that we're at the right opportunity, then again, if I do one, I do one this year. If I don't, I've not set out from January to say, right, we're going to bulk because I want to compete. If I compete, I compete. If I don't, I don't. I'm not putting that pressure on me. If I wake up tomorrow and go, after the shoot, hey, we've got one in 2 weeks, in a month's time or 2 months, we're pretty good shape. Do you think we could do it? That's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to be for us, because like you said, you're doing it for yourself at the end of the day. So we'll just see how you feel. And that was one of my questions was going to be, what's next for us? Obviously, we've got the next photo shoot coming up in July.
Yeah, as I said to you, I think the photo shoot July, that is, for me, that would be it in photo shoots, because then we've got a start.
Yeah.
We've got a middle. And then we've got like an end.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that this is the end, but it's the end of that process for me.
Yeah.
For photos. So then I can say, there's my beginning, there's your middle, there's your end. And for you as a coach to say to possible clients, look, this is
the reality of it.
It's 3 years in the making or 4 years. It's not a quick fix.
Yeah.
Yes, there are quick fixes, but then you've got to the downside that is you've always got, there's the possibility of putting all that weight back on again, getting disillusioned with it, getting bored of it, just going, I'm not into this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you've got to make it gradual, that when you do come out, it's gradual again, that you then go back into what is classified as normal.
Yeah. And it's a bit of an adjustment period getting back to normal, isn't it? So is there anything, there might not be, I hope there's not too many, over the 3.5 years that we've been coaches, is there anything that you haven't enjoyed about the coaching experience? Are there any times where you've been like, a bit fed up of this now, or I wish this was different, or anything like that? You can be honest, by the way. You can. This is your opportunity to slate me for all that cardio that I made you do.
I want a full refund for 4 years, please. No, there isn't.
No.
Because I think we've just developed as a coach and client, but also on that friendship level. So, and I think that's, for me, there's never been a point where I go, I'm not enjoying this. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 times when training, I've gone, that hurts. But then I've literally tried it and then said to you, look, mate, that's really hurt. Like with the pec deck at Ultra. I said to you, that kills me, my shoulders and my back for some reason. I'm going to turn it into the cross cables and all of a sudden that back has gone. Yeah. But you've said, yes, that's cool. So it's not, and I think that's, as I go back to what I've said, it's, you need to find a coach that you work with that will work with you, and you'll listen to what they've got to say, because at the end of the day, you're the professional in this. I'm guided by what you say, but it's also, there's that leniency that we can operate between those boundaries. But if something doesn't work, I know you can change it, or I go, I hear you on that one, but I'd rather prefer to do that. Okay, let's see it. Oh yeah, okay. So for me, there's never been a time, and I mean this truthfully, when I've gone, bollocks to you, Jake, I've had enough of this, stuff it. There isn't.
I bet there were times you were cursing me when you were doing your cardio, though.
yeah, because when you were saying, because I used to say to Jane, he wants me to do in 40 minutes cardio and 10,000 steps. Is he for real? Like, but then you do it because you've got to do it. It's like, shut up or put up.
Yeah.
And yes, there was those when I was just like, I said to Jane, this is not right. And she'd look at it and go, oh, it says it there. Yeah, but what he says he's put it doesn't mean it's right, does it? Well, ask him. I'll ask him tomorrow. No, I'm going to ask him now. Right. And that's when I messaged you saying, is this real? Yeah, why?
and it's one of those, like, I had this joke last weekend with Jack again, my cousin, because him and his fiancée Emma, they're getting married in a couple of weeks. And obviously Jack did the photo shoot with yourself. Was it with, no, he didn't do it. Sorry, he didn't do it with yourself. But you know him through the gym. But he did a photo shoot last summer, and Emma's been dieting down for the wedding, and they've both done well. But they were both saying to me, or Jack was saying at the stag do last weekend, he was like, there's been so many times where Emma's been cursing your name to me because you've given her a bit more cardio to do, or I've been cursing your name because you've given me this to do. And I'm like, well, at some points I was like, that's just the job. I was like, if you're not cursing my name at stages, I was like,
yeah, then it's not working.
I'm not doing my job right. But, and what me and Jake say all the time is like, for us, what coaching is and what it comes down to is, okay, this is your goal. This is the plan to get there. This is where you're at. So this is where we're going to meet in the middle. Yeah. Because if it's not where this plan is, if you're like, okay, I can see where we need to go to, but I don't quite like this, or I can't quite do this. It's like, okay, cool. Well, then let's change it and meet you where you're at. And that's what coaching should be. We think to a good standard is making a plan and then, making it to fit the person. Not the other way around.
Because all of us are so different.
Yeah.
What works for you might not work for me. Like I said to you, that's why I got hacked off when you said, okay, here's your meal plan, off you go. Okay. Now what? Then I'm trying to work out what the carbs to fats are. And it's just like, no, man. Just I'm not in. Yeah. Just tell me what I must eat, when I eat, and how. It was almost because I've always been brought up regimented style. And I've always had regimentedness and worked to that. And it works for me. It might not work for anyone else. And each and everyone's different. Yeah. But for me, that works.
Yeah. And that's it, literally. I've got, like you said, yourself, where we've always got a meal plan. I've got some clients that have done photo shoots who have always just had macros and they'll just choose their own foods. I've got some clients that are a bit in the middle, so they'll have calorie and protein targets, and then every couple of weeks they'll send me pictures of the food and be like, does this look okay? Are there any adjustments? It just depends on the person. Yeah. Like, that's all it is.
And like, I think, going back to cursing you, I think, as you say, if you wouldn't be doing your job as a coach.
Yeah. Because there's times where I need to put my arm around you, like when
Yeah.
you're struggling and we're having phone calls and helping you out. And there's times where people need a boot up the ass.
Yeah.
Like the same with me. Like there's with coaches that I've had, there's times where they've supported me and there's times where they've been like, look, this is just what you need to do. Like we just need to crack on and get it done. And you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah. You can cry as long as you want about it.
Yeah.
But that's it. At the end of the day, if you want to go and do that, then that's what you've got to do.
100%. So just to finish, mate, because it's been a cracking episode.
Yeah,
We've been
awesome.
chatting for a while. What would you say to someone, or is there anything you'd say to someone who's kind of, and you've touched on this a little bit, who's sat on the fence a little bit of, the kind of like, I've seen this online coaching thing. I think it could help me, but is it going to be worth the money? Is it actually going to get a result, or is it just going to be another meal plan, another training plan that I'm going to sack off in a few
I would
weeks?
say to people, try and stay away from YouTube because there's too many people on there that just all claim to be experts. And as I said to you, what works for them won't work for you. There was another program that I took, a meal plan, it didn't work. It's because it's tailored for them. They just send you a generic plan, might not work. So I think for me, someone sat on the fence going, do I want to coach or not? Is do your homework, look at who they've got, look at their testimonials, look at who's following them, and just see genuine people on their website rather than some bunch of nobodies who you just think, really? And I think I think that's what I like about you guys and the other lad, is that the testimonials you put on there is people that you've worked with, and the photos you put on there is people, how they look then and now. And I think that's what you need to look for in a coach. There's certain coaches I follow on Instagram, and they are genuine because you can see their client base, like guys and girls. You can see what they looked like before and what they look like now. You can tell. So do your homework. And then just have a convo with someone and just say, look, maybe try, like we did, try a one-off meal plan and a one-off training program, because then that gives you an indication of what you're going to get from that person. And then touch base again, and like we did. I think that's the best way. Is just, you've got to give it a go and just say, right, okay, this is what, and you've got to want to make those changes yourself too. And like I've said, there's so many people out there, you become disillusioned. But to have a chat to that person and just say, is this black and white? Can I do this? And then automatically, if you start again like, no, this is how it is, we don't really work like that, then that to you should start ringing alarm bells saying, look, let's stay away, let's find someone else, and you, like I said to you, you automatically get a feel for who of that person straight away. And and at the same time, you've got to enjoy the process.
Yeah.
You really have. Because it is, whilst it's strict, you've got to enjoy it. It's because you can't just say, oh, that's an end of. And it's not.
It's funny because I was just saying to you, I've literally just made a post that hasn't gone out yet with you in mind. You're on it, and it's literally that the diet, the initial diet that people for the most part come to coaching for, to help with the diet. That is just step one. That's not your journey done and dusted when you get lean. And as you've shown, that is step one. And then it's like, okay, now I've got to this point and I'm feeling good. Where can I take it? What do I want to do next? And it should be the stepping stone into whatever future goals. It doesn't have to be physique goals. It could be performance goals, whatever it is for you. But it is just step one.
Yeah.
Mate, thank you for coming down.
No,
it's been amazing.
Me,
That's been
when
amazing.
You first mentioned it, I was like, oh, no way.
Yeah, you were a bit nervous, weren't you? But everyone is
Yeah.
in the first. Me and Jake were nervous when we first started doing these. Even more so when I realised how bad Jake was at doing them, and I'd have to take the reins. No, mate, it's been absolutely fantastic. And it's been an amazing 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing to be able to have you down and do this.
It's been an absolute pleasure, dude. It's not the end of it. And I'm just extremely grateful for you guys to say, come on to the show. It's a humbling experience for me.
Yeah, I was never not going to ask you, dude, because
I know
A, you enjoy doing this stuff, but B, you won it. I think you're my second longest serving client. I think there's just one guy who's been a little bit longer, but in terms of what we've achieved over that time, it's above and beyond. And, to be able to chat about it. Like I've said to you,
it's an effort from me, but more so from you. So when we won the regionals, we won that.
Yeah.
Because without you, I wouldn't have got there.
I'm tearing up.
Right, stop it now.
No.
Enough.
But thanks, mate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, great stuff. Thank you for having me, man.
Been a pleasure. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, happy days. Cheers, man. All the best.